I'm Harry from Carlisle Bath in the UK. I'd like to share a story about me losing. And this all happened at the summer camp in Strömstad, Sweden, August 2016. And if you don't know, the summer camp is 5 days of world-class training from world-class teachers. Many of them are KSI instructors, as well as high-level people from other styles and other organizations. And the teaching roster in this particular year included Jürgen the Last Viking Kruth, who is a 6-time world champion Muay Thai and K1 fighter in the super heavyweight division, who's also had an undefeated record of 5 wins in professional MMA. It's a great guy to learn from, absolutely top notch. Now, overall this year at the summer camp was supposed to be a fairly relaxed one for me. I didn't have a grading to prepare for that year. My wife was in the early stages of pregnancy at home with our first child. It was all going okay. It was supposed to be a nice holiday with some training thrown in. Excuse me for the accompaniment. I just moved my notes to one side. So it was supposed to be a nice holiday with some training thrown in. And naturally my bag got sent to the wrong airport on the way over, so it was a small setback, but nothing major. One of the cool things we did do at the camp that year was to have an evening of sparring matches with stick sparring and kickboxing. Sorry, kitty cat. Stick sparring and kickboxing to give everyone the opportunity to experience like a fight night style event. So far, so good. I was roped in to be a stick sparring partner in a few matches to give some of the newer guys a good matchup. That was all good. So I'd borrowed some training gear all ready, and I was kind of good to go with the stick sparring. About 30 minutes into the sparring night, after my first stick match, one of the senior guys said, Harry, you're sparring Jürgen later. And I went, okay. And having enjoyed watching Jürgen kick everyone else around the room, blissfully unaware of what the future held. So, next, I get a call from my mother-in-law saying that my wife had gone into the emergency room for a reoccurring thing that she has, but they didn't know how the treatment was going to affect the baby. I called my wife, and she told me that she was fine and not to worry, that we'd reassess and make a plan in the morning. And if I needed to come home, then so be it. Of course, I couldn't really do anything in that moment at all. I was in Sweden, they were at home in the UK. For some reason, I went back to the sparring night. But, as you can imagine, with a few things on my mind. Now, turning to my match with Jürgen. For some reason, I got to do 2 rounds when everyone else seemed to only be doing 1 round. But, okay, no big deal, you know. The first moment that he hit me, I knew it was going to be a bad time. This guy is 1, a world champion, 2, 20 kilos heavier than me, 3, a world champion. You get the idea. You know all those Chuck Norris jokes, right? Well, they're actually about Jürgen. I lost count of the number of hard body shots and leg kicks that I got hit with. One leg kick in particular resulted in a bruise on the other side of my leg. It must have thrown me to the floor 4 times in as many minutes. Every single one of those made me want to quit. But between action and reaction, there's a moment to pause, to reset, to think, how do I want to show up? The question I kept asking myself was, what kind of dad does my son need me to be? So I kept getting up. Every time. Knocked down 4 times. Get up 5.
Give it back, Harry! Give it back!
I even got a cheeky head kick in, so don't worry. I'll make sure I loop that bit in slow motion for your enjoyment. And Jürgen, if you're watching, I'm sorry, you're still the champ, and hope we're all good, yeah? Hope so. So the next morning, I spoke with my wife again, and she and the baby were okay, and they're both happy and healthy now. But thank you very much for asking, that's very kind. I suppose my point is that you can't always be prepared for every challenge that life throws at you. Sometimes it's a lost bag when traveling. Sometimes it's a phone call that makes you feel incredibly helpless. Sometimes it's a virus or a threat of illness that we can't always see. Sometimes it's a giant Viking who just loves to fight. None of us can truly control these external events, but what we can control is taking that microsecond moment to decide, how should I react to this? What's the best response that I can make? How do I want to show up today? In Kali Sikran, we choose to push each other hard during training, and it builds that decision-making habit to face hard tasks and hard choices with a sense of determination, so that when we do get the bad news, we can call upon those reserves when they're most needed. So when you've faced all those huge challenges I'm sure you've already faced and already overcome, everyday stuff just doesn't even really tip the scales anymore. So when you get faced with a new challenge that is significant, remember who you really are, what you've already dealt with, and choose how you want to show up. And go.